The father of a Christian girl being held by a radical Islamic terror group is pleading with Nigeria's government to help secure his daughter's release. Islamic terrorists kidnapped Leah Sharibu from a boarding school in northeast Nigeria more than 200 days ago. They're said to be members of the terror group Boko Haram, and they're holding the 15-year-old because she refused to renounce Jesus Christ and to convert to Islam. Her father is now begging Nigerian authorities to rescue his daughter. Our senior international correspondent, George Thomas, has traveled to Nigeria, joins us now with more on this girl's plight. Can you share a bit more about why she was kidnapped?
Yeah, so basically on February 19, 2018, Leah, along with 110 other girls, were kidnapped by Boko Haram terrorists in the northeastern part of the country. 4 weeks later, close to about 104 of the girls were released. About 5 lost their lives in the process. And Leah was kept back. She was held, in essence, because she refused. She was the only Christian, by the way, Ephraim, in the entire group. And they forced her to convert to Islam. She refused. And in the process, they've held her back, as you mentioned, for 213 days.
Unbelievable. The terrorists have issued an ultimatum. What are their exact demands?
Yeah, they want money in exchange for her life. They say, if you don't pay up, we will kill her. The UN alleges that a few months ago, the Nigerian government paid ransom money for the 104 girls who were eventually released, but did not pay money for Leah's release, because the accusation is that the Nigerian government knew that she was a Christian, therefore did not pay the necessary money to get her released. Her father, just in the last 24 hours, has pleaded with his government, the Nigerian government, and the Nigerian president, Muhammad Buhari, who is a Muslim, to have the authorities go in, find her, and bring her back safely.
Well, George, it's now been more than 200 days. Is there evidence that she's even still alive?
There is. Last month, a Nigerian news outlet called The Cable obtained a 32-second audio recording. Reportedly, you hear on the tape where Leah makes the following comment. She says, "I'm begging you to treat me with compassion." This is a message, Ephraim, to the government. "I'm calling on the government, particularly the president, to pity me and get me out of this serious situation." In addition, by the way, to that 32-second, you just saw the image there. In addition to the 32-second audio recording, there was this image of her released that we saw on the screen there. There you go. She's completely covered. Remember, she's a Christian, but she's donning the Islamic garb, and she's sitting in a posture that is the typical Islamic posture that a woman sits in when she's saying her prayers. Clearly, she has not converted to Islam. She's still a Christian, but this was used as a proof of life.
Well, I'll tell you, we hear her plea. We now hear her dad's plea. What is the government doing?
Nothing. I mean, this is the challenge that the Nigerian government has had for several years, trying to deal with Boko Haram that continues to create death and destruction all across the country. And it's a challenge. The Christians in the country are accusing the Nigerian government, led by a Muslim leader, for doing nothing to protect the interests of Christians in the country.
You feel helpless just hearing this. Yeah. There is a prayer effort underway. Can you tell us about that?
That's right. In fact, it launches next week. One of the largest denominations in the country, one that Leah, by the way, belongs to, on September 24th, which is Monday, or to September 26th, they're calling for prayer and fasting for her release.
And we know you've been to Nigeria multiple times. Describe the relationship between Christians and Muslims.
Real quickly, this is one of the largest nations, on the most populous nation on the continent. It's evenly split between Muslims in the north, Christians in the south. And for decades, there's been this conflict between Christians and Muslims. Keep in mind, just this year, from January to date, over 6,000 Christians have lost their lives. Open Doors calls Nigeria one of the most dangerous places in the world for Christians. In fact, it ranks at number 14 in the entire world. So the tensions between the two groups continue, and the government is doing nothing to protect the interests of Christians in Nigeria.
Heartbreaking. George, our senior international correspondent, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.